Hi everyone, this is Tiffany Iser. So I am going to start with the design of my classroom. So how I kind of designed my classroom was based off of the article I read that discussed some key areas to think about when designing a classroom that would be for blended learning. So to start off first, my desk here, it's facing outward. I would have the door here coming into the classroom. Usually for safety, just having the teacher's desk face the door. I don't typically sit at my desk, but making sure it's at the door if I would be at my desk, that I could see everything happening in the classroom. So one of the areas is zones. So making sure to maximize your space and create nooks. So over here, I kind of have a nook for a reading area that students can sit by themselves. Kind of read and do independent work. I also have over here a kidney table that could be worked at as a small group, and over here some desks that are individualized in a group that could be put together to work at collaboratively or independently. And then I have a round table over here, and in this corner I have the computers with the chairs. The reasons that I have some shelves around the areas where there are groups is so that there are resources and materials available readily at those stations for whoever's working with the students, or if the students need to gather materials themselves. So that's kind of where the shelves came into play and why they're there. So then accessibility. So make sure that resources and things around the room are accessible. So I would make sure that the shelves, any materials the student needs are able to be reached without needing a chair or stool, because that would be unsafe for them to try to step at. And as you can see here, there's a lot of space to walk around. And actually this projector would probably be on the ceiling, so that would be even more space. The shelves are to the outside. I wouldn't really want any shelves dividing the room, just in case I would need to move something, move the centers, and so students can easily walk around without tripping on a shelf, running into it if something would happen. Over here, I have a square rug and a projector, so I figured that could be a whole group meeting area where students can see something on the projector if needed, or we could just meet as a whole group. My thought here is if the projector could be also turned, it could face here to the kidney table as a small group table if necessary. So depending on the capability of the projector to be turned or adjusted, it could be used for multiple areas of the classroom. And then mobility, again, designed to be flexible and meet the needs of all students. I could easily move the kidney table back here, closer to these shelving units, move the desk closer to the front here at this area, or move the computer so the round table would be necessary. But for me, this would be my ideal classroom. So I tried to put the individual desks where students would be working by themselves, closer to the back where there were fewer distractions. And then have some group tables, trying to make them not too close so they're not disruptive. But then the computers where they're also going to be working independently are here. So as you can see, the independent areas are kind of to the outside and quiet areas, and then there's two group tables and the rug. That would be if I would have help and other people running centers, or if there would be a collaborative center. Hopefully you wouldn't overhear, because I would definitely have in place the rules and procedures like we did with the posters to make sure that students are quiet and working at an appropriate volume level. So this is my classroom design, and I just based it again off of the articles we read and our books, information in our book. So that would be my ideal classroom. Okay, the resource I chose was BrainPop. So to start, I'm going to talk about the Guide to Choosing Digital Content and Curriculum. So first was graphics, to make sure you have crisp colors and edges. As you can see here, the graphics are pretty good. They have a movie of the week. You can go into math, and there's sound on. You can have it read through everything. Everything is a different color. There's graphics throughout. They're pretty good colors, and the graphics are clear. So learning paths. There is a way to set up individual learning pathways based on the level of mastery and formative assessments. So For me, I do not have a subscription to BrainPop, nor does our school. So I am not able to log in. So I'm kind of looking at it from an outsider's perspective. But I did go through and research and watch different videos from BrainPop and people who've used it and looked up different statements and research things that they have done through BrainPop to see some of the features that are also once you would buy a subscription through your school district. So Learning Paths, you can assign movies and activities to each student. You can then export the data from these assignments to Excel. It also asks notebook questions throughout the video, so students then get an alert that they have to do an assignment once the teacher assigns them that lesson. You can also print out the notebook questions that they could actually write them down if need be. So interactive elements, easily you can interact with content. There are tons of videos. So let's say I work on number sense, or this is the lesson I want my student to work on. So I'm just going to say patterns, if that's the skill, and then it pops up a movie. As you can see, you can click play. Here's the notepad where some of the questions come up. They have closed captioning, great for UDL and transcripts. They also down here have activities that can be done, word play, games. You can draw about it, write about it, take a quiz, easy and hard quiz. You can also make a quiz as the teacher and then make a concept map that uses the vocabulary. So those are all different interactive activities that you can do on BrainPop. So assessment elements, multiple assessments and opportunities to reflect. Again, easy quizzes, hard quizzes, you get an opportunity to get feedback from those. Also, you can write about it. And that's going to make me log in. So most of the features you do have to have a subscription for. But you can write about it or draw about it and reflect. Same with talk about it. You're also able to talk about how you did and what you learned throughout the lesson or the games. So, user interface. So content, highly visual. There are a lot of visuals to help navigate, but it doesn't solely rely on visuals. You can use the sound button to turn the sound on and have it talk to you. That is a feature that they have. And then adaptive engines. So the learning management system utilizes data to create personalized learning paths. So BrainPop is integrated with G Suite and Clever. So as you can see, here are the integrations that they have. I did find that there are other ways if you have an LTI 1.0 integration with your learning management system, there is an option for you to also use that. Okay. So the next one is that the data flow should be seamless. So again, data once the students take the quizzes can be exported to Excel. But as you saw on that last page, that the content directly goes to G Suite or Clever or OneRoster. So those are easily systems that if your district has those, the data transfers right over and they already are compatible. So cognitive load, awareness of the types of activities and assessments in each learning path. So all activities are interactive. They range from videos, games, concept maps, and quizzes, as we said. And there are also different subjects, so you don't have to just do math. There are science, social studies, arts, reading, health. Data collection, again, it captures assessment data to have a 360 view of learners. It captures the student watching the video and each assignment they do. So you will get all of that information on your data sheet. And then self-paced, so students are assigned the material by the teacher. And then materials are assigned based off of that data that the teacher takes and then reassigns to the student. And then UDL. So best practices, they have alternative text captions. They do not rely alone on color and all can be read aloud. So I actually have an accessibility statement here and it highlights some accessibility features that they have. So movies are captioned and offer transcripts. Belly Up comics offer transcripts. Quizzes features are navigable by screen reader and the keyboard. So those are kind of just some accessible features that even have ELL accessible features for students that need those. So I also looked at this based off of our textbook and the 12 considerations when choosing software. So existing inventory. So for my district at the K2 level, we do not have BrainPop. We also do not have Clever or G Suite. So that would be an issue that we would run into. Full-time or supplemental, I would say BrainPop is definitely supplemental for our purposes, because the teacher does have to assign things, and it's not all inclusive of all the skills that you might need for your students to work on. And then for the price, the BrainPop Junior price for kindergarten through, let me get to it so you can see. So for a school, the price here is $1,550. And then if you want to do the creative coding, you have to add another $595 on top of that. And then student experience, students can see their assignments and what they have completed. So they are able to do that. Each student can keep track and have an individual account. You can create custom assignments here, it says, and monitor the completion and increase time on task. For accessibility or adaptability, BrainPop Junior has teachers controlling the assignments students complete. It does not assign them or speed up or slow down on its own. The data, teachers can see what assignments and videos students have completed, as well as go into the quizzes to see the exact questions students answer correctly and incorrectly, and then they could be downloaded with to Excel, or as you can see here, they have seamless integrations based on some G Suite again, Clever, OneRoster, or LTI tools. A study for efficacy was conducted, and it showed a correlation between BrainPop and state assessment scores improving. That one, you'd have to look into more research and more studies, I would say, to directly correlate BrainPop to those assessment scores going up, or there are other variables also that have changed, or were they consistent across the board from previous years. Flexibility, if the school purchases it, it has 24/7 access and is available to all students inside, outside the school district, on a desktop or any mobile device. So that would be great. And then compatibility, BrainPop can be used with all devices. That's great for us because we're iPads. We do not have desktop computers. So that would be a positive for our school district. And then alignment, BrainPop is aligned to the Common Core. And we can see when we go down here to the lesson. So if I click on here, and I can get lesson ideas. So there are lesson ideas that also come with it. Again, provisioning, you can import your rosters through Google Classroom, and Clever automatically actually updates the account. So they only singly support one integration at a time though. And then again, there is single sign-on with the school package only, not the individual teacher package. So going back to this now that this page is loaded, academic standards, you can see here, you can search by standard. So we would search by Common Core, but there are so many things you can search by for BrainPop here. And it gives you ideas and gives you the standard you're working on. So for my classroom, I think this would be a great resource to have. Again, not as full-time, but supplemental for my students to work on and work through by themselves independently. It would definitely be motivating between the games and the videos. They're very interactive for my students to work on. So if you have any more questions, feel free to comment on this post. Thanks for watching.